Hello and welcome to yet again another episode of Business Today. Thank you so much for having joined us, especially for this episode of the CEO's Insight, where we talk about the product profile. And now, Tembo Steel has just launched the TMX stroke TMT rebar, the very first of its kind, and listen to this, locally manufactured here in Uganda using the raw materials from Kabale. There is so much to understand, especially for the Ugandan context, what are TMX rebars or what are TMT bars, for instance. We really need to know so much about it. Now with me is Mr. Sanjay, the chairman of Tembo Steel himself, who's going to give us a broader perspective on what Tembo Steel is and what this product that they have just launched on the market really entails for them and for the Ugandan market. Thank you for joining us and say hello.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. So what are these TMX and TMT bars? How are they different from what you have already on the market, especially from Tembo Steel?
You see, the TMT, TMX, which is available right now currently in the Ugandan market, they are coming from the scrap route, and there are some which are coming from the billet route, the imported billet route. The unique thing about Tembo TMX is it is coming from the primary route. And I can tell you that the Tembo Steel is the only company in Uganda who is operating right from primary steel making. The steel comes from iron ore, Kabale. So it is basically, if you can say that it is free from tramp element. Tramp element generally do not serve useful purposes in a steel. So the steel is free from tramp elements, steel is free from residual elements. These elements do deter the quality of TMT. So in our case, the unique difference between us and others is our TMT comes from rock, which is a virgin metallic, and for others it is coming with the contaminated steels. Suppose you are buying the scrap and you are melting it, there are so many tramp elements, there are so many residual elements which you cannot avoid in a scrap because sorting is not possible at that level. So when you get that, it becomes very, very difficult for you to get it sorted. But for us, the God has given us the virgin metallic, which is free from tramp and residual elements. That makes our steel purer and cleaner in compared to others.
Well put. Now from the business perspective and of course looking at the economic scope, how economically cheaper are these new products on the market, especially for the construction and real estate industry?
The bars which are available locally in Uganda or in a region at large, we are, I think, 10 to 15% cheaper than the product which are imported or the product which you get from imported billets. Even the TMT which are sold in the construction industries, these bars are cheaper by 10 to 15%. Even the quality, as far as quality is concerned, we have clearly mentioned you and we have gone public that all the physical parameters, chemical and mechanical properties of the bar are going public, which means that is a very simple technology. A QR code is there, you just scan it and then you will get in real time the quality of rebars. And if you match the quality of these rebars anywhere around the globe, around any laboratory, anywhere in the world, you will find these bars are having much more superior properties than other rebar which are used here in Uganda.
Thank you. Now in regards to some of your other products that you have on the market, what would I say is unique about them? What differentiates you from the likes of steel and tube roofing in regards to quality? Because the minister influenced something about quality and standards that you have to meet in this industry.
You see, if you go by the propaganda, I have nothing to say on that, because I would say that this is a propaganda against us, and it is a big community which is spreading propaganda against us. Our products are no inferior than anybody else in the world. That is why this unique set of things are happening here. Why we have decided to go on public? Because now public is there and public knows everything. Now what we have done is we have made this public in a digital platform where anybody can cross-verify our properties of steel, whether they are matching with the international standard or not. So you cannot go more transparent than this, what we have done in this product. As far as other products are also concerned, there is no competitor for us because we are doing primary steel, and the majority of us, steel companies here in Uganda, they are importing the goods. Maybe sometimes semi-finished goods, sometimes finished goods. So there is a different business model altogether. So if you compare with any steel company, we are different. Our mode of operandi is different. We are 100% boo-boo company. Whatever we do from 0 to 100%. We have never ever imported any semi-finished or finished goods in the history of Tembo Steel. By the way, the history is 22 years old. So what I say, that I mean. We are no inferior than anybody else in the market, not in Uganda, in the region or at a continental stage.
Interesting. Now, I would like us to talk about in regards to balance of trade and import substitution. The minister himself inclined about how we spend 976 million US dollars on importation of steel products, and we have market players like you, Tembo, with a big brand that is worth 300 million US dollars. What is your contribution in regards to lessening, that big sum of money that is going in regards to taxes, to jobs, that big, sum of money that is going in regards to that?
You see, it's a very, very important and critical question, and that needs to be answered as well. Okay. Because what is making us that these imports are happening at a stupendous pace? Minister was talking about, Honorable Bahati was talking about something like 976 million US dollars. That's quite large chunk of money. $1 billion of importation is happening in the real time. Why they are happening? This is a big question. Are we are not having a skill, or we are not having technology, or nobody want to invest here? What is the real question behind it? The real question behind is we need to fix our policy. Once we fix our policy, this whole $1 billion could be avoided, and in turn we would be able to export good worth $1 billion. If we fix our policies in the medium to long term, we will be a net surplus country as far as import and exports are concerned.
Thank you. Well put. Now, what I get from you right now is saying that policy implementation or the policies in place are not as favorable as we may think. Yeah.
These policies are favoring importers. They are not favoring the president's agenda of 0 to 100% value addition. You see, what happens is when somebody is importing goods 90% processed or 95% processed, the policies treat them as the raw material. When it is a raw material, it does not serve any importation, because suppose, for instance, a product which you are importing is carrying 100 tons of weight. Now, then you are selling 100 tons. What kind of raw material is this? Which means that importation is happening, a small fragment of value addition is happening, and it will never fix the importation problem. The value addition has to start from 0 to 100, and if policies can be rectified, it is very much possible to do here in Uganda.
The minister also inclined something in regards to HRC.
Yeah.
Protection, I didn't understand from that. Could you give more context to it?
Yeah. You see, whatever Tembo does, it does from 0 to 100%, right from the inception, boo-boo. Yeah. As I have clearly mentioned, we have never imported anything. Yeah. And in turn, we were at the receiving end, because it is very difficult to manage when you start from 0 to 100. And when policies do not support you, then it becomes a very difficult scenario for you as a value adder, because importation, it is always cheap. When imported steel flow into the country, and then this imported steel is treated as a raw material, then it becomes a real difficulty for the people who are real manufacturers. So which means that the whole value proposition needs to be analyzed thoroughly. As far as HRC is concerned, I will give you one input. HRC, we are the only manufacturer in whole of the region, including Ethiopia, Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda. And we started this activity in 2004. Since then, we are producing hollow sections from HRC, our own HRC. Everybody else, apart from Tembo, is importing HRC from different destinations of the world. But it is not being protected, because HRC does not contain any duty. And HRC in international market is very cheap. We cannot compete with the imported HRC because the raw material aggregate is low. Electricity prices are low. The scale is high. It makes the product cheaper. And then when we don't have any protection, how would you expect a manufacturer that can branch into that activity where there is no juice? So we were there in 2004. Since then, now it is 20 years. There is no protection on tubes. That's why we have never been able to scale this activity.
Wow. Interesting. They also hinted on something of you being the biggest consumers of Uganda's electricity.
Yes, that's true. We are the number one power consumer in the country as of now.
Now, you can imagine that. And also contributing to taxes as well.
Yeah, but you see, the electricity proposition that we are consuming is a fraction of it what we can consume. because we are consuming close to 5 billion shilling in a month. That makes us number one in this country. But what is the true potential of Tembo steel? It is, I think we can, in value term, we can go for 20 billion, because the installed capacity is too much. We are operating at 20-25% installed capacity, which means that we can consume up to 20 billion shilling per month, and then of electricity, and that will make us even bigger in terms of consumption.
So what do you think could be done to increase that consumption? Are the tariffs favorable?
We need to correct our policies. This is the straightforward answer. If we correct our policies, everything is possible.
Okay. In regards to supporting other emerging local companies that are in the industry to be as big as you, and in regards to, of course, this is inclined with your CSR, your compliance to the government, what are you doing in regards to that, apart from what I've seen with Makerere students, which I've seen myself?
You see, in regard of this, I would say one thing. It does not matter whether you are very big or very small, whether you are doing the right thing or you are doing the bad thing. The right thing remains the right thing if you are doing 100% value addition, which means that you are for the job in this country. You are creating a whole lot of infrastructure which will enhance the GDP. You are here for the workers. You will consume the utilities. You will pay taxes. You will do everything which will enhance the GDP. It is the right thing to do. Now, in contra, suppose you are importing 90-95% fully finished material in the name of raw material, you will not be able to do anything. You will be scaling your capabilities and capacity to a very low profile, but you will earn profit for you. But you will never be yielding rich dividend to the country as large. This is a proven fact all over the world. I am not talking something which is unusual in any terminology. This is as simple as that. You produce here. Whatever you consume, you should produce. This should be the mantra. As far as
you produce, you should be able to
yes. Whatever you consume, you should produce, and you should consume what you produce. This is as simple as that, and it remains simple. But common sense is not that common. Why you are importing something which you are not able to produce, and you have to think why we are not able to produce. Why is very important. We have to come up with why. If why comes in more often, then you will find all kind of solutions.
Lastly, as we sum this conversation up that was as short and as brief but insightful as it should have been, what are your environmental aspects or practices that you do? I have seen the green around and also visited the plant in Uganda. It's quite interesting.
Yeah.
So what mechanisms have you put in place to ensure that you combat climate change?
You see, I would say that we had worked immensely as far as environmental compliances are concerned. And you will be proud to know this, and you will feel pride in knowing this, what effort did we put. You see, for instance, it will take some 2 minutes to explain, and you will take only 2 minutes to understand. Let me tell you that the detail of carbon emission. Worldwide, steel is considered as dirty industry. If you are doing with the primary steel, if you are doing with the secondary steel, you need not to do anything. Just a small processing is there, so no pollutant will be there. If you are talking about the basic steel, the primary steel from 0 to 100, it is considered as dirty industry worldwide. Now, how much carbon emission do steel industry emit of per ton of steel? 1 ton, if 1 ton of steel is being produced, CO2 generation is close to 2.2 tons. So, which means 2.2 tons of CO2 has to be discharged into the open skies or into the atmosphere, which belongs to all, not Uganda. It belongs to the world, right? Now, out of this, if you discharge 2.2 tons, and when you discharge close to 20% of the total quantity which is discharged by the blast furnace, so which means that it is a very significant move in order to save the environment, and you are done with the environmental compliance. I will give you a small matrix. The matrix is composed of 4 things. If you put together all those 4 things in harmony, you will be able to achieve 80% carbon reduction in the value chain of steel, which starts from 0 to 100.
What you're doing here?
This is what precisely Uganda is doing. It's not Tembo Steel, it's Uganda, because it should be put on the world map, and it should be made public, because West always say that they are too much concerned about environmental concern. You need to ask them how much CO2 generation is there in their steel industry, and what is the CO2 per capita generation as far as this primary steel is concerned. It is 80% less. So the compliance rate of Tembo steel is close to 95%. And if you go by the average, if you go for the European Union, it is coming close to, if you add the matrix of it, is around 60%. in US it is around 70%. So in Uganda it is around 95%. So you just compare the data, how much energy and environmental compliances Tembo Steel is doing right here in Uganda.
Interesting. I leave that for the book. Lastly, what are your last words or parting shots for
Buy
anyone
Uganda.
watching and has just learned about the TMX and the TMT?
Buy Uganda, build Uganda. You purchase the product which has been originated right from Uganda. If your product is no inferior than any other product which is available anywhere in the globe, why not Ugandan product, which is your own product and it is a superior product? Just analyze, collect the data, observe the data, and then conclude the data, and then you just go and buy if it suits you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That was the chairman of Tembo Steels, Mr. Sanjay, who gave us an insight about Tembo Steels and, of course, a broader perspective of what they just launched today, the TMX and TMT rebars that are going to be a big force for the construction, as supposedly, or we have just seen with our eyes, they are going to be big investments for the construction industry. Thank you so much for having joined us.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate your time and expertise. As always, I'm Nona Nahabwe. Thank you for watching.